Well, today we're talking about identity theft and how to protect yourself from it. With me now is Becky Frost. She is the Consumer Education Manager for ProtectMyID and also an expert on securing your personal identity. So thanks so much for joining us to talk about this important topic.
Happy to be here.
All right, so tell us first of all, how common is this that people's personal identities are getting stolen?
Well, you know, at Experian's ProtectMyID, we actually commissioned a survey here in Illinois to find out just how common it is. And in fact, 50% of all Illinois residents and 54% of Chicago residents have either had identity theft happen to them or know someone personally who has.
Wow,
That's a pretty big number.
That's a lot. And so what are some indicators that would tell you your identity has been compromised?
You know, some indicators are if getting collection notices, seeing other indicators can be getting phone calls from collections, getting mail that's not yours. Obviously, having your accounts, your credit accounts, inaccessible is a big red flag.
Okay, so just kind of being aware of those things and being on top of it. And what are some ways that we can actually protect ourselves from our identities getting stolen?
So there are a number of things that you can do. One, watch out for those red flags. And two, if you want to be more proactive about it, especially with data breaches happening that can affect millions of people, you want to monitor your identity. And what that means is monitoring your credit report and monitoring the sale of your social security number on dark websites. You know, that's something that we can't do on our own. And so pieces of that. So you want to sign up for some sort of identity monitoring service like Experian's ProtectMyID.
And I've heard a lot about passwords as well, and all of our different accounts that we have, and making those passwords as difficult as possible, but yet easy enough to remember. What do you recommend for that? What do you personally do?
So you want to make your passwords hard to crack, and you want to make sure, our survey reported that 40% of people aren't changing their passwords, so they don't have unique passwords on their accounts. That's really important to have, especially on your financial accounts. So you want to make sure to use strong passwords. Again, not your pet's name, not anything that you post on social media. I recently talked to a woman who had her bank account hacked, and her password was her mother's maiden name, and that was on social media.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty easy to track down.
Yeah.
So are there any helpful tools that you know of that you could let people know about to kind of keep track of all of those passwords if you have multiple accounts?
You know, there are multiple password vaults or password apps that can help you with that. So I don't happen to have recommendations for those, but if you look and do searches, and then also if you're downloading an app, make sure to read that app's privacy policy to make sure that your information with that app is secure.
It is safe there as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And if you suspect that your identity has been compromised, what's the first thing you should do?
The first thing that you should do is place a fraud alert on your credit reports. That alerts any lender, anyone that's trying to extend a new line of credit, that there's potential fraud there, and to take additional steps to protect you. Something else that most people don't know about is also to file an identity theft police report.
Oh, okay. And what's the process of that like?
So you'll contact your local police agency, let them know identity theft has happened to you. They're going to take some details and give you a report. That report's really important to your lenders. That report's important to the fraud resolution departments of these companies. They use that report as a reference to track the time of the crime.
Okay, yeah. You know, unfortunately, seems to be one of those things that you don't think too much about until it actually happens to you.
We often hear that.
Yeah, and it can end up being a huge headache. I've definitely had friends that have had to deal with that, and going through all those steps of contacting all your companies and lenders can be very, very difficult. Do you have any other recommendations or tips, anything I haven't asked that you think is important for folks to know?
You know, we live in a digital and physical world, so protect your identity both digitally and physically, meaning shred statements, shred canceled checks, and then in the digital world, be careful about what you share.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Becky Frost. We sure do appreciate all your helpful information today.
Thanks.
All right. Stay tuned to CLTV News. More news and weather is coming your way right after this.